I've said it before and I'll say it again, 2025 is truly the year for new book releases. There are so many incredible books dropping this year. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to be going through a couple of my most highly anticipated releases and reading them together. We're going to try and keep this video as spoiler free as possible because 2 of these are actually arcs. There are 3 main releases I want to read in this video. The first book I actually went to the store today and picked up. It's Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, the latest release in the Hunger Games universe. This book we already know follows Haymitch during his Hunger Games, and I'm actually so incredibly excited for it. The fact that the Hunger Games released when I was what, like 10? 11 years old, and now I'm here at age 22 about to read Sunrise on the Reaping. I do have a confession to make, and that is I have not read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'll get around to it one day. I have seen the movie, like I know everything that happens, but yeah, I definitely will be making my way to this one day, sooner or later, but this is the goal for this video. If you watched last week's video, and you should, you probably know what the next book I'm gonna read is, and it is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This book comes out on the 1st of April, so by the time that this video goes up, there should only be like 2 days left until everyone can get their hands on it. I was lucky enough to receive an ARC for this book through NetGalley, so thank you so much, Hachette, for the ARC. I'm unbelievably excited. I don't actually know too much about the book, but Say You'll Remember Me coupled with that cover, I just know it's gonna feel like a Taylor Swift song, and Abby Jimenez's books are just such perfect, cute summer romances. Big fan of her work. All of her other works are on my shelf right behind me. The final book on our agenda is the one I am 100% the most excited for, and it's probably my most anticipated read of this year, and that is Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. For those of you who've watched me for a while or who've followed me on TikTok, you know I am very much in my Dramini fanfic era, and I have been for the past like 5 months or so. The Auction is one of the Dramini fanfics that I absolutely adored. This book is a reworking of that fanfic. It's got an original story, original names and characters, but it is the same story as The Auction, more or less, at least I think. And this book comes out in July 2025. I'm not giving anyone a single spoiler, don't worry, but I frankly cannot believe I'm holding this in my hands. Thank you, Harper Voyager. I screamed when I opened this package. I cannot believe my most anticipated read is here. We're going Sunrise on the Reaping, Say You'll Remember Me, and then Rose in Chains, just because I think it would be nice to have a cute little romance book sandwiched in between 2 more worrisome books. The only spoilers I will give when I'm reading this are the spoilers related to the Hunger Games or the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So I won't say anything from this book, but if it corresponds to something in the rest of the series, I will. Like I said, this is about Haymitch's Hunger Games, and it is a quarter quell, so twice as many tributes are getting taken. Haymitch is torn from his family and his love and shuttled to the capital with the 3 other District 12 tributes, a young friend who's nearly a sister to him, a compulsive odds maker, and the most stuck-up girl in town. And as we know from the Hunger Games book, he is the sole survivor of this Hunger Games. I'm expecting to have my heart broken, but then Abby Jimenez can put it back together. I'm only a quarter of the way in, but there are familiar faces popping up, obviously people from Katniss's time, and they've just like been offhandedly mentioned, but I don't know, it's nice. It's nice to be back in a world that I haven't been in for like 10 years. Okay, it's just gone 4 p.m. and I'm over halfway through. This is a slower start because you have to understand Haymitch as a person a lot more, but we have just started the games. I'm on page 206 and the games have only just begun. Like, they are on their way to the arena. I kind of liked getting to know Haymitch. I really did enjoy his character. He did always seem like the rebel, the kind of nonchalant one, and this kind of shows how that character was formed. It's a really quick read, a really digestible book, much like the whole of the Hunger Games. I found that series, that was like, it hooked me in when I was younger, and this is just like that. It's very easy to read while also being well written. It's 8:30 p.m. and I have got just less than 100 pages. I think I have 90 left. So far, as I said, it's super easy to get through. I obviously don't feel as attached to Haymitch as I felt for Katniss, but you know what? I'm enjoying his story. I do think setting up most of the story to be about learning about Haymitch and then only really getting into the games at the halfway mark was a really good idea. I finished Sunrise on the Reaping at 10:30 p.m. last night and I couldn't get to sleep till 11:30. Let me just say, if you think you're having a bad day, you can rest assured that Hamish Abernathy is having a worse day. I gave it 4 stars, which means I think it was excellent, and that 1 star that I didn't put on was obviously, as I said, because I felt like I didn't connect as much with Hamish as a character as I did with Katniss. I can appreciate though that Suzanne Collins spent half the book kind of teaching us who Hamish was before the games ruined him. So you do kind of connect to this hopeful young boy, and then you see that all get ripped away. The first half, look, I was intrigued. It's a world and it's characters that I am familiar with, so of course I was intrigued, but the second half was where it got really, really good. And when I say really, really good, I mean I was traumatized. And I can't stop thinking about it, and now the urge to rewatch all of the Hunger Games movies, reread all of the Hunger Games books has just come over me. I feel like healing my mind a little, so I'm jumping straight into Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. To be quite honest, I don't actually know too much about Say You'll Remember Me, except that the title obviously comes from a Taylor Swift song, and look at the cover. The cover looks like a beautiful sunset. I'm expecting this to heal my heart. Abby Jimenez, wonderful author. I've got 3 of her books. Her books just make me feel good inside, and that is exactly what I need after hearing Hamish have everything he loved be taken away from him. I'm 16% in and it's really cute, but honestly it's a little insta-lovey. I know they tried to set up our male main character as kind of grumpy. This is supposed to be a grumpy sunshine, I think, but they were immediately obsessed with each other, and I don't really know. We're only 16% in, okay? So where do we go from here? So far, still enjoyable, but I'm a little worried for the rest of the story because they already like each other. 42% in, and it's honestly sitting at around 3 stars right now, which doesn't mean it's bad. It's good, it's enjoyable, but number 1, the insta-love problem. Number 2, that there's some communication to work on. And number 3, I just don't feel as connected as I would like to the characters. Regardless, 42%, we'll finish it either tonight or tomorrow morning. I finished the book. I finished Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. It's 7:15 p.m. Listen, this book was not one of my favorites, which is kind of a pity because this entire month has been filled with 4 and 5 star reads, genuinely stacked. But I don't know, something about this book didn't do it for me. The characters, I struggled to really care about either of them. I already mentioned the whole insta-love situation, which the author tries to make it interesting. I won't get into details here, but it just didn't work out for me. I don't like insta-love. That is one thing that is very constant for me. However, I do like Abby Jimenez's writing, and I also love how she's able to explore strong themes in her books, and she does it in a very good way. We see that pretty frequently with her other books as well, so I do appreciate that. However, yeah, it just wasn't the book for me at all. In terms of ratings, as of right now, just bordering on 3 or maybe 2.75. I was a little disappointed by this one, but nonetheless, I am grateful I got to read it. It was something that I really wanted to get around to, but I'm gonna go to bed because we're starting something really, really interesting tomorrow, and I could not be more excited to pick up Rose and Chains by Julie Soto. And I know if I talk about it, I am going to start reading it right now, and I can't afford to do that. I need to go to bed early today, but I can see it. It's like taunting me on my bookshelf down there. We'll get into that tomorrow. I woke up in perhaps the best mood of my entire existence today. Today is the day I get to start my most anticipated release of the entire year. I thought I would be waiting until July to read this, and I'm holding it in my hand. As I've said before, Rose and Chains is a reworking of Julie Soto's fanfiction, which was The Auction. It was a Dramini fanfiction published on AO3. It is dark, there are some heavy themes in here. In the fanfiction, it's an alternate universe where Voldemort won, and he ends up enslaving the people who were fighting on the Order of the Phoenix's side, and they are sold to prominent Death Eater families. But of course, because it's been reworked into a book, there are certain elements that have to change. There cannot be one trace of the wizarding world in this book. In Rose and Chains, we are following a girl called Bryony, who I believe is a princess of a kingdom that is overrun by their enemies, and the survivors of the attack are auctioned off to the winning side. Her magic and the magic of her people is stifled and taken away from her, and she is sold to a member of a high-ranking family of the enemy. I am so excited to see how Julie Soto has reworked this, and I absolutely love her writing. I've read Not Another Love Song. That was a book that I truly enjoyed, so we are in safe hands. I can't wait to get started on this, and I'm gonna stop yapping and we can get into it right now. I feel like I could have explained this story a little bit better, and we're going to continue to read in bed, but before we do, I'm just going to tell you that there is a magical war going on between two separate groups, the Eversons and the Bomadi. There is a tyrant who has become the Bomadi ruler. She has radicalized a lot of the Bomadi into persecuting the Eversons. The Everson kingdom, the Everson castle, is overrun, and much like the auction, the princess Bryony, our main character, as well as the surviving members of the Everson castle are sold in an auction to prominent Bomadi families. That is the foundation of where we begin. And the way this story is told is that we continue in this timeline, but there are also flashbacks here and there to when the Eversons and the Bomadi were at school together. This, of course, is a parallel to Hogwarts. And yeah, I hope that gave you a little more insight into what this story looks like. Little nighttime update for you. I'm on chapter 7. I'm actually really liking it so far. I don't want to say what part I'm up to. Obviously, if you've read the auction, you know the story, but like, things are just kicking off. This is just the beginning of the story. I'm really enjoying seeing how Julie Soto made this work in the non-wizarding world, and there is a pretty interesting magic system particularly going on here, which I'm excited to learn more about. Unfortunately, I'm on my way to work, which means that I don't really have much reading time today, but we're gonna make do with what we have. On my break, I'll be reading. On the train, I'll be reading. Let's see how much we can get done today. I'm loving it so far. I read, I think, like 2 or 3 chapters this morning as well. Things are really picking up. Again, we're still just in the beginning stages, but this is a trilogy, so I assume that the entirety of the auction, which is a pretty long fan fiction, that's going to be divided into the 3 books. I do assume that it will be slower paced and better written, which it is, and the auction was already fantastically written. I am back home, and thank God, guys. I'm literally up to there, like probably just under a third of the way through. It is so good. It is so good. We're getting into the meat of the plot now. The enemies to lovers has just kind of begun. Once again, I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to tell you what's going on in the book, but it's going well. This is the point where things are gonna begin. It was at this point of the auction that I really got invested. So reading this, I know that this is the point where I'm gonna be unable to put this book down. If I could lock my doors, stay inside and not leave, I would have read that in one sitting. Obviously, this will be slightly biased because I do have an emotional attachment to the original fanfiction, so whatever. When I hear the words slow burn, enemies to lovers, dark romantasy, that is what I mean. This book is what I mean when I say all of that. I could not be more grateful that I get to read it, and this is your sign. I haven't even finished 30% in, but I think I should say that everyone should pre-order this book. It doesn't matter if you like Hermione or not. This has nothing to do with that. It's a different world, and it's so good. And I'm also kind of having the time of my life working out the Wizarding World characters and locations and kind of having them correspond with what's going on in the book right now. I also really appreciate that Bryony is called Bryony, and that's our main character's name. Hermione, Bryony. Shut up. Even the act of taking a break to go eat dinner. I don't want to have dinner. I want to read. I'm pretty much 2/3 in. This will probably be a 5-star read. It is really good. It is a dark romantasy, and I love the way it's been written to kind of like weave in the past, Bryony's past, and the current events that are happening. It's also raining outside. Perfect reading weather. It's 12:30. I have about 150-ish pages left. We're finishing this today, and honestly, I'm not ready to say goodbye because I was focused on reading it as slowly as possible so I could savor it, but it's almost over. I have my coffee and I have 100 pages left. And true to form, this is only a very, very small slice of the auction. Because this is being set in an original world, a good chunk of the plot is like going through the world, going through the war, going through our main character's history, which I'm not mad about. That's exactly what I expected. I am interested to see if the conclusions will be the same. I just finished. We're gonna talk about this tomorrow because I need to sleep on this. Well, let's talk about it. I gave Rose in Chains 4.5 stars. I thought it was excellently done. I think the main question when you turn a fanfiction into a traditionally published book is whether the story can still stand without its fanfiction bones. But I have to say, I love the universe that Julie Soto crafted for this book. As we know, it's about a princess sold into slavery after the enemy conquers her kingdom. The backdrop of the magical war happening was actually really, really interesting. I can't wait to see how that war kind of unfolds and wraps up in the next couple of books. I also really like the way that this was told, as in we would go through what was currently happening and then there'll be flashbacks to when the Eversun children and Bomadi children were at school together studying magic. That gave us a lot more insight into the characters and the relationships, and I'm not just talking about our two main characters, but like all of the characters were schooled together. This was a true slow burn in the sense that I'm not gonna say, but it is a true slow burn. And there are some twists that most certainly were not in the auction. She has built upon it, which is amazing to see. It's dark, it's decadent. This was everything I could have hoped for, and I'm so excited to read the other two books in the series. I actually can't really predict where the other two books will go, even though I know the general outline that they will follow. Anyway, great book. Please go pre-order it, and thank you, Harper Voyager. And with that, our video is at its end. I really enjoyed the past week of reading these new releases, and how lucky are we to get served with new amazing releases every single month. It's always Christmas when you're a book reader, and next month is April. Do you know how many good books are releasing in April? So I will see you next week. Bye.